How's it going, everybody? Adrian Simple here, and welcome back to the Gaming Observer for Friday, July 10th. I hope you're having a wonderful day, and why don't we wrap up your week here with some video game news, shall we? Sony has made a $250 million investment into Epic Games, giving them a 1.4% stake in the company. Now, it isn't abundantly clear how these two companies are benefiting from this investment, but they have said that it is an extension of their already close relationship and, quote, reinforces their shared goals to advance the state-of-the-art in technology, end quote. We actually got a lot of information on this from VentureBeat, who say that it enables them to broaden their collaboration by using Sony's portfolio of entertainment assets and technology with Epic's social platform and digital ecosystem. They also say this, quote, "The deal is important for Sony because it needs allies in the upcoming console war," end quote. Going on to say that if Sony is getting some kind of advantage from this, it's still not entirely clear what that is. It's interesting, Epic Games has been doing a lot of fundraising recently. They've gotten something like close to $2 billion in investments, and apparently that has also given us a look into their financials, which is usually kept a secret. They're a private company. So allegedly, their revenue for 2019 was $4.2 billion, with predictions of $5 billion in 2020, $1 billion of that being profit. And according to their sources, Fortnite is a major reason for that, having earned $400 million in the month of April alone, which is just bonkers. So anyway, pretty cool to see, and hopefully it just leads to bigger and better things. Jeff Keighley has released the final hours of Half-Life Alyx. So this is actually an interactive storybook that you can purchase on Steam, and basically it takes you through the last decade of development at Valve, with a focus on Half-Life, of course. A bit of a behind the scenes. It is around $10 American, but I've got some information here from an article which I thought was interesting. Basically, Alyx was actually the 6th attempt at making a new Half-Life game since 2007. Valve had started a number of small-scale projects that were constantly fizzling out. They even tried to do like a Half-Life 3, and Alyx was actually a collective and, conscious effort to avoid that pitfall and just make one big project that people could focus on. And I know that this has been said before, but the big final note was that Alyx is actually considered the icebreaker. The team who made the game have stated that they want to make a full-scale Half-Life game for the traditional platforms. So Half-Life 3 is still on their minds, at least. So we'll see how it goes, and definitely check out the Final Hours storybook on Steam. It looks really, really cool. World of Warcraft is finally going to remove the $15 price tag for changing the gender of your character. This will go into effect with the new expansion, Shadowlands, and it came around because a lot of appearance changes are actually free in the game at the barber shop, and that kinda just made gender the only thing that couldn't change without paying for it. And let's be honest, the fact that there was a price tag on it in the first place was ridiculous. This comes along with what people believe is the first openly trans NPC making its way to the game through the expansion, which I think is awesome. The next entry of the Dark Pictures anthology, it's called A Little Hope, is now slated for release on October 30th, one day before Halloween. This is the follow-up to Man of Medan, and it's actually the second of 8 games that are planned within that horror franchise. But not much else to say there, just thought I'd let you know. If you saw the trailer, it looks pretty cool. And finally, just another heads up here that there are a number of free-to-keep games available in the Epic Game Store that you are going to want to pick up. This week, it's headlined by Killing Floor 2, that's a great co-op shooter. They've also got the Escapists 2, which is all about escaping prison. It also has co-op, coincidentally. And then they've also got an indie game that you can pick up called Lifeless Planet. It looks pretty cool. It's an older game, but it's got a nice little aesthetic. And then next week, they are giving away Torchlight 2, so keep an eye for that as well. Alright folks, that's going to wrap us up on the news. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to be back tomorrow with the mailbag, so don't forget to submit your answers for it in the Discord server. You can find that at thegamingobserver.com/discord. I'll have another special show for you on Sunday, and then I'll be back with the news on Monday. So until then, happy gaming everyone. Hey everyone, TGO After-Show. First of all, a huge shout out to all of you who participate in the Discord server. I know it's not the most active Discord in the world, and I'm not even there all that often. I try to participate when I can, but I just think it's so cool that you guys all get to at least get to know each other in some way, celebrate video games, gives me a chance to learn about you a little bit more, even if I'm not saying anything, I'm reading everything. Anyway, all of that to say, thank you. Today, I spent a lot of time playing video games. I probably put 3 hours into Final Fantasy IX, I put a couple hours into Hitman 2, and I've kind of come to a decision with Final Fantasy IX. Now, I know I've talked about it a lot over the past few weeks, but basically, I got to this point in the game where I was just severely underleveled. Because, with this game, I've just been playing through the story and trying to avoid as many random encounters as I can. And that meant every time I came across some kind of mini-boss or even just regular encounters, I was dying so quickly. And I really didn't feel like grinding it out and trying to level up all my people and everything. And so basically what I've done is I'm just going to play it for the story at this point. Because on the remake of the game, they give you like a bunch of options for, stuff you can do, like speeding up the game really fast, or having it auto-battle for you. Or you can choose to have every hit that you make deal 9,999 damage. And so I just turned that thing on, so I'm not worrying so much about the combat and the gameplay, because I'm basically near the end of the game. I have maybe a couple more hours left. And that'll be severely shortened now that combat isn't involved. Because I'm still very invested in the story and what's going on, but I'm also in this point where I just want to move on to The Witcher 3, and I've never really been one for, getting stuck in one place. I feel like in any game, that's one of my pitfalls. So I said to heck with it. I basically decided I'm either going to do this, or I'm going to stop and watch, a Let's Play of it on YouTube, with no commentary, so that I can still see the game, I can still say that I basically completed the game, I just didn't do the moment-to-moment that everybody else did. Because hey, I'm excited for The Witcher, I just finished the books like I talked about, and Final Fantasy has been on my plate for a while, and I'm ready to say goodbye to it. Anyway, folks, that's what's going on in my life. Thank you so much for lending me your ears this week, and I'll be back with the mailbag tomorrow. So until then, farewell.